It was 1983. I was a senior in high school. And let me tell you, passion was running through my veins. She was gorgeous. She lived around the corner from my best friend. And when I saw her, it was love at first sight. And I knew she needed to be in my life. You see, she was a 1973 Triumph TR6. The first 3 months of our relationship were blissful. We had the best time. It was summer, the top was down, and it was great. Until she broke down. Two things I learned, one I knew, one I found out the hard way, is Triumph TR6 are absolutely fabulous vehicles to drive. And they break down often, very often. I actually got jealous during our relationship. See, she spent more time with the mechanic than she did with me. The relationship lasted about 6 more months, and let's just say I sold her at a loss, and the $3,750 that I invested in her, which was every penny in my account, was gone. But this was a very great learning lesson for me. You see, I followed my passion, but I didn't make any decision or any thought process of seeing if it was sustainable. Now let's think about passion. Passion is one of the greatest gifts we are given. You can't teach it. You can't convince somebody to be passionate about something. It comes from within inside of us. So passion is super critical for us to lead and follow with. But we just can't stop with passion. A lot of people think if I'm just passionate about things, good things will happen. Well, I was very passionate about my Triumph TR6, but it wasn't helpful to me in the long run. And that's what I want to spend some time with you today. Actually, I want you to think of 2 things that you're very passionate about. First, for yourself. Where do you see yourself in the future? What are you passionate about that you can invest in now that will be for your good in the future? And then for others. Think of things like a Mother Teresa. How can you invest in somebody else that you're passionate about to make life better for them? Think about those 2 things and we'll get back to that. Let's take a journey together. Let's take a journey downtown. We've all seen this. You come across somebody who's begging for money. Let's say this really stirs passion in your heart. A couple of options you have. Well, you can go down to the ATM. You're feeling very generous and very passionate. You pull out $500. You go back. You hand it to the person. Okay? Let's see what happens. Maybe one scenario is that person picks up their cardboard, goes home, cleans up, uses that money to buy some nice clothes, goes to the internet, looks for a job, goes on a job interview, wham, bam. A couple of years later, they're very successful. Could happen, right? Another scenario that's very viable is that person could take your $500, go to their drug dealer, get their heroin, overdose, and die that night. You were involved in either one of those scenarios. But the thing is your passion didn't know which one was going to happen. Now let's jump over to Africa. It's a place that holds my heart and passion. Especially in Central Africa. It's a very poor area, as most of us know. But I want to just give you an example of a village. Come with me. We're going to go to a village. The average village has about 500 people. The best way I can explain it is the wheel has been invented, but they can't afford it. The women and the female children walk 3 hours or more a day to go get bad water. And 20% of your children will die by the age of 5 due to dysentery, which is bad water. The UN says that 80% of the problems, health problems in those countries, is due to bad water. So people very passionate, like myself, say, hey, we've got a solution. Let's drill some wells for them. And there's been thousands and thousands of wells being drilled. And I can tell you, I've been to Africa 8 times now. And I've been to villages before a well was drilled and after a well was drilled. And it is life-changing. I want to put yourself in the place of a mother in that village. You've been walking since you can remember, over 3 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, just to get water to sustain life for your family. Now a well is drilled. Your daughter, who was walking beside you, is now able to go to school for the very, very first time. You are healthier, your husband's healthier, and the village is more productive. It's life-changing. I wish I could bring you right across side with me on it. But here's the scary little secret about Africa. There's $1 billion of broken wells today in Africa. People did not plan on how they were going to sustain those wells they put in those villages. Put yourself back in that mother's heart. The average well lasts about 18 months before it breaks down. So for the last 18 months, you've been more productive, you've been healthier, your daughter or daughters have been going to school, and now your life is back where it was 18 months ago. And you have to walk past this broken well every morning as a reminder. Passion doesn't always equal success. 10 years ago, I was asked to participate in starting up an organization to provide clean water to Africa. We spent months together because we did not want to be part of the problem. We wanted to be part of the solution. So we thought every question that came across us of how we're going to develop this organization, we said, is it sustainable? Is it good? Will it be helpful? And we decided, yes, I think we can do this. And we're going to do it slowly, but we're going to learn, and we're going to keep on going. So we came up with a three-prong approach. We would drill new wells, because that is good. We would fix broken wells, because there were plenty. But what we did add was a maintenance program. We basically added a team, and now we have 4 of them. It's 2 guys in a truck that drive around and visit that well 3 times a year and proactively fix the well. Surprisingly, the average part that breaks in a well is under $100. It's kind of exciting to stand in front of you today and tell you that we have now over 500,000 people over the last 10 years with sustainable, clean water. This is very exciting, but it's really changed the way I think about everything, and I challenge you to think about it. Go back to those 2 things that I asked you to be passionate about. How can you make them for good? If you noticed, our title for our organization is Water for Good. Water is good, but it wants it to be for good. So what can you do for yourself and for others that is going to be sustainable and for the good of yourself and others? Thank you very much.